Welcome to the Boots Podcast. On this episode, we speak to Kevin Oakes, who has a big reveal around the future of Welling Town. Good morning, Kev.
Morning, how are you?
I'm getting over the flu, but other than that, all good yourself?
Speedy recovery. Yeah. Very well, thank you.
We've got you on this morning because there is a big announcement for Welling Town. I'm going to hand it straight over to you.
Yeah, we finally got a home, which we don't own it, but we've got some stability as a club. We've moved around quite a lot since we've begun. Sometimes because we've wanted to move, sometimes because we haven't had much choice. It's very difficult for us to lay foundations when you're moving around every 5 minutes. But we've now got a home down at K Sports Cobdown, which is going to be where we play our football for at least the next 5 years. And it's a really exciting time for me personally and everybody involved at the club that will allow us to continue to progress from first team level all the way down to the youth teams that we've now got involved around the place.
So as you said, youth teams already play out of there. So this is going to be the main hub for all of Welling Town from here, from the end of the season, moving forward for at least 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the plan. We obviously inherited some K Sports teams last summer with what happened with the disbanding of their youth structure. And we've had 18 or 19 youth teams playing under our umbrella out of K Sports all of this season. Loads of challenges, loads of teething problems, as you would expect for the club in general to go from 2 or 3 teams to 21 in the space of a month. Last summer was very, very difficult. But this kind of commitment to a venue and the support that I've now got from a lot more managers and people behind the scenes will allow the club to make great strides forward. So, really, really exciting time for everybody that's been loyal to the club this season through the challenges that we've had. And we put all that behind us and we look forward positively.
So what does that mean for the club now?
Well, I'm going to be a lot busier, which is, I didn't think would be possible. But, when we started all those years ago, I never thought that we'd end up where we are now. But it was quite obvious that even if we did end up at this level, that there has to come a point where you can't keep progressing year after year without the risk of it all coming crashing down. And myself and a few people that were involved at the club from the very outset, we sort of drew the line at step 5, really, that it's impossible to get out of this division unless you've got finance, and it's impossible to get out of this division unless you've got a pathway of young players coming through your club and supporters and all the other bits and pieces. And if you look at the teams at the top of the division right now, they've either got one or both of the following things. They've got lots of money and lots of supporters and history, and we don't have either of those things. And this is the first step to help bridge that gap. And, it's not going to mean overnight that the club is suddenly transformed from struggling to, pushing for titles and things like that. But it will be more of a level playing field now. And if we continue the hard work and we've got more stability on and off the field, the club will only be better for it.
What does having the club to, I say to yourself, but having that as your home ground, not having to share and having a proper base where, like you said, you can recruit supporters, etc. What does that mean for you as a club?
Oh, I mean, even though you take the silly stuff, my car won't look like lost property any longer with, footballs and first aid equipment strewn all over it. So, but, you're walking into somewhere that is your home. You can set it up the way that you want it set up, as opposed to renting somebody else's ground where you're always treading on eggshells a little bit and a bit restricted as to what you can and can't do, because ultimately you're in somebody else's house. So, on the field, there'll be some improvements in and around the ground, new dugouts. We're already looking at putting a turnstile block into place just to make the entrance to the ground a bit more appealing. There'll be a players' tunnel going in. We can rebrand the changing rooms so that they're more welcoming and homely for players that are playing for the first team, and to give the youngsters something to aspire to. We can have a physio room put in place, a kit room, a manager's office, somewhere that we can sit down with players and have proper conversations. We want to try and put a players' lounge as well. Lots of off the field things that all these little small percentages hopefully makes the whole football environment around the club better for everyone.
100%. So you said about the ground and sharing a ground. Correct me if I'm wrong, K Sports would be a 3G pitch?
Yeah, so we'll be overseeing football operations there. So just to be clear on that, we don't own the place. Our landlords, K Sports Management, which is independent of the actual football club, will ultimately be owner of the site, but we'll be overseeing the football operation. So not only will our first team train and play there from next season, but we'll have the youth teams there, and then all the other external clubs and organisations that use the facility. I mean, I think the fire and the police service have got some kind of commitment down there for matches or training. There's various charities. Obviously, you've got the Kent FA based on site. We'll be looking to speak with them about referees courses, coaching courses, how can we support them, and vice versa, local schools and just the local community, because we don't really have any supporters. People have been, because of where we've come from, and people have been critical in the past of that, partly because we've moved around, but obviously we have only been going for 5 or 6 years really at a serious level. All of a sudden we'll be playing at a venue where we've got 20, 30, 40 youth teams. We will have a supporter base, living on the doorstep of the ground, and that will hopefully again make it a more enjoyable environment, that our first team players will be playing in front of a crowd rather than an empty stadium, which is good for everyone involved.
It makes all the difference when you've got that home support, and makes it a little bit more challenging for the travelling away team when you've got that backing.
Yeah, I'm going to say we've always been at a massive disadvantage to every team in the league, and there are some others in the division that work wonders with minimal budgets or minimal facilities. It's very obvious who the sort of big clubs in the division are, and the others that are maybe facing similar challenges to us. But yeah, it'd be nice to move the infrastructure of the club forward, and hopefully, if we do what we need to do in the next 12 or 13 games on the pitch, and stay in the division, make sure, as I've said before, that we're never in this position again. And this is only going to make it easier for us to do that medium to long term.
So what can we look forward to in the transition between the end of the season and the beginning of next season? What sort of things are going to be going on?
Well, on the field, the absolute priority is whatever it takes to stay in this division, because you don't want all these exciting plans to come on the back of a relegation. And I remain confident that will be achieved. Lots of work to do, but it's not an impossible task by any stretch. So, I mean, first and foremost, even this morning, I've been inundated already by all the people that train and play at the site, wanting to have conversations about next season. We'll be recruiting for new teams to come and play under our umbrella as well, which will take up a lot of time. We need to get a committee organised. The club's already been been run as a little bit of a one-man band, where I do have people that support me, of course, but ultimately most of the work ends up on my shoulders, and that needs to change. So putting a committee in place of people that are committed to the club, want it to be successful, even if they're not involved directly in the first team, want it to be successful, and to do their little bit for the club in general, and to support the club that there's some place for in the youth structure. That is a big thing. And then just other things that other clubs of our size now organise. We'll be looking to have a tournament in the summer, and it's actually our 10-year anniversary at the start of July as well, from when the club first started. So we'd be looking to do something special then to welcome back some of the former players that played their part in helping us get where we are.
Lots of exciting plans. Where can we look out for the announcements in terms of your tournaments and your recruitment and for either players, youth teams or committees? Where will that be found if people were interested?
All over social media, and that needs a revamp because, again, at the moment, I do a lot of that. Well, you're doing some of it, aren't you? You probably just created yourself a job, I'd imagine. But yeah, all over social media and our website, I'll obviously be getting a revamp with everything that's going on at the moment. So keep an eye out over the next week or so with how you can get in touch and what we can hopefully do to help you.
So exciting plans, exciting plans. And you know that it will be the beginning of when does the season start?
We take our agreement kicks in on the 1st of July. So again, just to be transparent, anybody that has got an existing arrangement with the venue or wants to make an arrangement with them between now and the end of June, they need to go through the normal channels and anything from the 1st of July onwards. So, you know, your pre-season campaign and summer tournaments and training over the close season, then that should be directed to us. Just wanted to say thank you as well to the people that have helped make this happen. So Byron Beard and Bill Reynolds and Craig Stead, who are all youth team managers under our umbrella. They are, there's many people, too many to name, but those three in particular were the initial conversation starters last summer that put this wild idea into practice, and they've been very supportive this season, giving up a lot of time and energy, dealing with a lot of problems that you would anticipate when you're trying to effectively merge two clubs on the youth side of things. So yeah, just want to thank them publicly, and yeah. Only other ones really, I suppose, are my first team management as well, past and present, because I think the challenges of them having to work with a chairman and manager are obviously much greater. And, you know, there are times where the first team have suffered because I'm on chairman duties, and that's to the detriment of the club and everybody involved with the first team. So again, thank you to the people like Steve and others, past and present, Pete and Simon and all the other people that have supported me over the years. Again, too many people to mention, but I'm very grateful. We wouldn't be here without them. And then obviously my partner, Louise, as well, who even after 10 years is still washing the kit. And yeah, she's a little bit more careful with the kit for the players that she likes, and doesn't care so much about the kit for the ones that maybe she's not so keen on. But again, she's had to suffer an awful lot over the last 10 years.
The long-suffering football
obviously.
wife, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
It should also kind of be noted that a lot of this is voluntary work. It is non-league football, so a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes is all done out of people's own time and for no real personal gain for them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if I take Steve, for example, he's been with me since the beginning of the season. He's driven all over Kent, you know, spent God knows how many hours on the telephone, giving up his free time, and he's done that, you know, out of nothing other than enjoyment for football and wanting to support me, and I'm grateful for that. And there's plenty of people in non-league football, whether they're well in town or not, that give up an incredible amount of time and money to do their part. Every club's got its volunteers, and we've probably got less than most. You know, ever since we've played at Phoenix and Chatham, people have always said to me, "Oh, you know, you need to get some helpers, etc., etc." And we've always said, "Well, yeah, we do. Where do we get them from? You know, you can't just sort of pick them up at the bus stop." So by having a home, by having a youth structure that is local to our home, by having all the parents and the teenage kids that want, you know, a little Saturday job of doing bits and pieces around the ground, it will make the club a better place to be. And we will suddenly have a supporter base and a network of people that want to help, and that will make the whole club stronger. So yeah, really exciting time. If you want to get involved with Welling Town, get on the website, get on social media, get in touch.
And you will be nomads no more.
Yeah, well, at least 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, it's been great to speak to you. Congratulations. It's been such an incredible journey for you and everyone involved at Welling Town in such a short space of time. And yeah, wish you the best of luck. But we'll be hearing from you again soon.
Thank you. Yeah, we're not stopping here either. All right, watch this space. Thank you.
Good luck.
Cheers.